Let's see what arithmetic mean is. How do we work with this? How useful it is. So I am Dr. Prabhat Dwivedi, Principal and Associate Professor, STEP HPTI, HPTU, Kanpur, India. Let's see the meaning of arithmetic mean. This is basically denoted by x bar, and this is, as I told you earlier, an arithmetic measure of central tendency, which is frequently referred as mean. This is the most popular measure of central tendency. We also call it average. So this is, in common parlance, we call average or mean. That's what we are going to learn over here. So we will be learning for three kinds of data set, how to calculate mean or average. So as I discussed with you that if the data points are single and every single value is identifiable, that series is called individual data series. When the data are in group, they may be called discrete data or continuous data. So let's see how mean can be calculated for individual data series. So the formula is here, written here in front of you, that is mean equal to sum of all items a plus b plus c plus d plus n upon number of items. So that's then called sigma x n upon n. I mean, sigma x means summation of x1 plus x2 plus x3 till xn values, if observations are like x1, x2, x3 dot xn, and there are n number of values. So this is how the formula goes, sigma x upon n. Now, how can we calculate mean for discrete or continuous data series? Formula is written before you. This is the direct formula that you can apply, that is x bar equal to sigma fm upon n, and then shortcut methods are written below that. First shortcut method is x bar equal to a plus sigma ft upon n. Here a is assumed mean, we just assume one mean and then we calculate the entire, we make entire calculations. And then comes the third one, that is step deviation method. Here a, that means we take assumed mean as well, and I is also there, that means we multiply with interval. I stands for interval. So I will not spend much time over here in describing these formula. Better you will learn while I work out the formula. So that will be the better situation for you. Let's move with the first example. This is the example and which asks you to calculate the arithmetic mean for the following frequency distribution. In first column, age is written, that is more than. I mean, this is not actually the observations. These are the observations which is written as in one arrangement, that is more than frequency distribution. And second column you can see, that is a number of persons. So in the first column you see more than 0 means all values. More than 5 means values more than 5. More than 10, that's how we need to understand it. So now how will we calculate arithmetic mean for this frequency distribution? Let's see. Here we need to classify the data. Since it is in more than frequency, so we need to work upon it. So now how classes can be formed? Here once again I move on to the previous slide. 0, 5, 10, more than 0, more than 5, more than 10, more than 15, all have the difference of 5. We can simply make classes like 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20. You see here in first column how we made classes here. 0 to 5, 5 to 10, that is age groups. 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30, 30 to 35. Right? Now the mid values of these classes are like 0 to 5, 2.5. 5 to 10, mid value 7.5. 10 to 15, mid value. Mid value comes out by adding these two lower and upper intervals and divided by 2. So just like 0 plus 5 upon 2, 2.5. 5 plus 10, 15 upon 2, 7.5. Similarly, we can calculate mid values. So 30 to 35 have 32.5 mid values, right? Now, let's again move on to the previous slide. Here, more than 0, 25 people. More than 5, 23 people. So, how many people, how many persons will be from 0 to 5? More than 5, 23. More than 0, 25. If we reduce 23 from 25, what value we will get? We will get the value that is of 0 to 5. 0 to 5 will come. How this class can be calculated? Just by reducing 23 from 25. So that's how we can get. Similarly, 5 to 10, we can see 5 to 10 class. More than 5, 23. More than 10, 19. So, how many values are between 5 to 10? That is 23 minus 19. Similarly, 10 to 15, again, more than 10, 19. More than 15, 14. So, between 10 to 15 will be 19 minus 14. We can just reduce 14 from 19. We will get 5. Right? Similarly, 15 to 20 means more than 15, 14. More than 20, 11. That means 14 minus 11. That will give you 3. Similarly, we will be calculating all the values for all the classes. So that calculation is given over here before you. 0 to 5, 2. 5 to 10, 4. 10 to 15, 5. 15 to 23. Right? So these are the frequencies we have calculated actually. In this way, frequencies were not given. Frequencies were given in the more than format. So we need to calculate the frequency for individual class. That is what we have done. So total frequency we have got over here is the same 25. That is the same value which we were having in the previous slide. More than 0 value. More than 0 values were 25. That is the sum of all frequencies. So that is given over here. Now we have mid values, that is M. We have frequency, that is F. So what our formula says? Our formula says X bar equal to sigma Fm upon F. Fm means we have to multiply frequency with mid value. So this is frequency and this is mid value. For every class we compute Fm. That means we multiply F with M. So here F is 2, M is 2.5, 2 into 2.5 gives you 5. F is 4, M is 7.5, multiplication gives you 30. Similarly, we calculated. And now, in our formula, we need sigma Fm and sigma F. That means here we sum all the frequencies, will get sigma F. We sum all the values of Fm, we get sigma Fm. Now we put these two values in the formula, that is sigma Fm upon sigma F. So sigma Fm is the total value, that is 467.5 of Fm upon sigma F 25. So we get here 18.7. So this is how we do applying the direct formula. This is how we can calculate arithmetic mean. Right? Now let's move for another question example. So here calculate the arithmetic mean for the following frequency table, frequency distribution. Here again the values are before you in little bit difficult form. Two columns are there, size and frequency. So less than 5, less than 10, 5 and 15, 15 and above, 20 and to 25, 25 and above. So frequencies are given. Here also you need to make the classes. Less than 5, if we assume that the beginning is 0, so 0 to 5. Frequency is 7. So we can put 0 to 5 class, and for that frequency is 7. Now calculation comes in, that is less than 10 and here less than 5. Now another class is 5 to 10. Like classification can be this way: 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30, 30 and above. Above value can be considered as 35. So 30 to 35. Similarly, we can do the classification of this problem, right? Now we need to calculate the frequencies. So less than 5 means 0 to 5. 0 to 5 has the value 7. Now comes less than 10. Less than 10, 20. Till, 10 or less than, the values are 20. That means if from 20, that is less than 10, you reduce less than 5, you will get 5 to 10 values for the 5 to 10. So less than 10 is 20, less than 7 is, less than 5 is 7. So 20 minus 7 is 13. That will be the frequency for 5 to 10. So we put here the same, you can check in the next slide. Less than 7, the classification is done here, 0 to 5, 5 to 10. In the third column you can see the classification has been done, 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20 till 30 to 35. So mid values have also been calculated here the same way we have calculated in earlier example. Now the third, that is the value of f. This calculation this frequency column needs certain calculations which I have shown you in the previous slide. Less than 5, that is 0 to 5 has 7. Then 5 to 10 has 20 minus 7, that is 13. Similarly 5 to 15, how you will calculate the frequency between 10 to 15, whereas these values are given to you. So 5 to 15 is having 38 frequency. Now for getting 10 to 15, we have to reduce 5 to 10. So what 5 to 10 value we got? That is 13. If we reduce 5 to 10 from 5 to 15, that means we are going to get the values for 10 to 15 class. I hope it's clear to you now. So that's why what we did, we reduced the value of 5 to 10, value of frequency 5 to 10 from 5 to 15. That means 38 minus 13. That produces 25 before you. So that is easy to calculate. Now next value is before you, 15 and above. That is given to you 55. But we need 15 to 20. So and next value given to you is for 20 to 25. And further is given to you 25 and above. So dear learners, you see here, we need 15 to 20. But we have value 15 and above. So we need to reduce all the values from 20 and above to get 15 to 20 class value. So 15 and above value is 55, that is written over here, minus 20 to 25, that is 20, that is written over here, minus 25 and above, all the values from 25 and above, that is 5. So that is also reduced from this to get the values of the class 15 to 20. So that produces 30. This is the value for class 15 to 20. Now 20 to 25 value is given to you, put it straight here. So that is written here. Now 25 and above. For now we need 25 to 30. So the value 25 and above is given. If you reduce 30 and above, we will get 25 to 30. So 30 and above value is 1. 25 and above value is 5. So 5 minus 1 gives you 4. 30 and above means 1. That is straightforward to put for 30 to 35 class, assuming that 35 is the higher limit of the ending class. So now we had this frequency for the class we have found out. So we have M, we have F, we can straight multiply Fm. But here, if we use step deviation method, that is a shortcut method, we can do some more calculations. We can make one more column here, that is step deviation. ds, here this is very small written. ds is x minus a upon, that is 5. That is the difference. So x is any value of observation. 17.5 is assumed mean. We assumed this, the middle somehow value to be capital A. This is A. So x minus A, that is, you keep on reducing x value or m value the same. You call it m or x. This is the same thing. So m minus a we can call it. So 2.5 minus 17.5 upon 5. 2.5, 5 is class interval, 0 to 5, 5 to 10, I, that is I. X minus a upon I. So here 2.5 minus 17.5, that gives you minus 15 upon 5, that produces minus 3. Similarly, 7.5 minus 17.5 gives you 10 upon 5, that is minus 2. Similarly, 17.5 minus 17.5 gives you 0. Oh, sorry. 12.5 minus 17.5 gives you minus 5, divided by 5 gives you 1. And then 17.5 minus 17.5 divided by 5 gives you 0. Similarly, plus 1, 2, and then 3. This is step deviation method. You need not to multiply with so much in decimals and all. For that convenience, this step deviation method is there. Though in examinations, if calculator is allowed, then you can go straight method, that is just multiply Fm upon sigma f. That is the simple method. You can reduce some time in doing this if you can use calculators, right? So that's how you now calculated ds. Now you calculate last column here, that is f into ds. These f, like for first row I am just showing you, f is 7, ds is minus 3. So 7 into minus 3 gives you minus 21. All the values calculated. Now you can calculate sigma f ds and sigma f. So here in this example, you found sigma f ds to be minus 41, sigma f to be 100. Let's see further. Putting the formula here, that is the direct, that is the shortcut method, step deviation method. X bar is equal to, a plus sigma f ds upon sigma f into I interval. You put all these values. You assumed a to be 17.5. You found sigma f ds to be minus 45, sigma f to be 100, I is 5. So you calculated and find out 15.5 as a value. So this is how you can use a step deviation method for calculating arithmetic mean, right? Now weighted arithmetic mean. Many a time, simple arithmetic mean is not useful. then we need to use weighted arithmetic mean. Formula is given to you. This is x bar w. W stands for weighted. Weighted x bar is mean. So weighted arithmetic mean is equal to sigma wx. W is weight, x is observation, upon sigma w. This is the formula how we will be calculating it. Here we can see the example. Example is given. Find the grade point average GPA of Paulo Arrayed for the first semester of the school year 2013-14. Use the table below. So these are these are given to you, the subjects, grades in every subject, and weight, that is unit. So you calculate xw for recall the formula sigma xw upon sigma w. That is why you make next column, multiply x into w, weight. So you get the third column here, and then further you summated all the weights and you summated all the wx values. So you found here sigma w and then sigma xw. Sigma w is 26, sigma xw is 32. Now see, apply the formula here, and then you get 32 divided by 26, and the result is 1.23. This is the GPA of the student for first semester. This is how a weighted arithmetic mean can be calculated. This is an example which rather this is a question which you are supposed to do yourself. You can take a screenshot of it and you can calculate it further. Now combined mean. Many a times what happens, there are more than one group, more than one samples, and for every sample there are arithmetic means, or you can calculate for every sample arithmetic mean. For an example, there are two classes in an institute of MBA students, section A, section B. So the average age of students of section A is 23, and the number of students in section A are 60, whereas the average age in the average age of the students of section B is 24, and the students are 58. Now the calculate combined mean of all these management students of that institute. So what will you do? Now you can apply this formula. This is the formula for calculating combined mean. X12 bar means combined arithmetic mean for sample 1 and 2. If sample 1 has n1 students or persons and the mean value is x1 bar, sample 2 has n2 observations and the mean value is x2, then the formula will be like this. If there are more than two groups, then n1 x1 bar plus n2 x2 bar plus n3 x3 bar plus n4 x4 bar plus ... till the groups last, upon n1 plus n2 plus n3 plus n4 likewise. So that's not a tedious task, very easy. How many groups are there? You just do this process iteratively and no issues at all in calculating combined mean. So here is an example given to you. I am not going to discuss with you. It is very simple to calculate arithmetic mean for combined arithmetic mean, but here I just tell you three groups are given to you. The mean age of 100 children was 9.35 years. The mean age of 25 of them 8.75 years, and that of another 65 was 10.51 years. Find the mean age of the remaining children. I mean, there are three groups. Combined mean age of 100 children together is 9.35. That means x bar 1, 2, 3 is given to you. Now there are three groups, and for two groups n1 x1 bar are given, and for third one you need to calculate. So for three group the formula has been written over here. You can simply work it out, no issues at all. n1 x1 bar plus n2 x2 bar plus n3 x3 bar upon n1 plus n2 plus n3, and simply you can calculate it putting all the values, nothing complicated in this example. Now you can do this question yourself. You can take a screenshot of it and you can work it out. I'm not going to spend much time on it. Now, how to do this arithmetic mean in practical? I mean, when you are working as a researcher, you are having a Likert type question in your questionnaire, maybe on 5-point scale, like strongly agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree. Many times we ask a question, we give a statement like institute XYZ is the best is the best institute in management in Uttar Pradesh. Now there may be 5 choices for before the respondents, that is given to you: strongly agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree. So how will you do this? So here examples are given to you. Another example similarly on 5-point scale, like I am sure that I can learn statistics. I think I can handle difficult lessons in statistics. I can get good grades in statistics, and you have to choose anyone out of these 5. But fine, we have got the questionnaire filled, but after that we don't know how to do with it, how to interpret this question. This is wonderful example before you, and this will be helpful in your project and management as well. So fine, like you got these examples, these many responses for first question. You got 36 responses for 5, 51 responses for 4, 18 responses for 3, 0 response for second choice, and 1 response for first choice. And then you calculated arithmetic mean. That comes to be 4.14. Similarly, for every for second question you calculated arithmetic mean and you found it to be 3.65, and for third question you found it 3.86. Now how would you interpret these mean values? Like, what is 4.14 means, what is 3.16 means, what is 3.86 means? This is interesting to learn here. So dear learners, now see how the mean values can be categorized with these 5 choices. This we need to know. These are the 5 choices: strongly agree, disagree, neutral, agree, strongly agree. These are in the same order. Now how will you, where you find that strongly disagree gets value towards 0 and strongly agree gets value towards 5. So now how much will be the difference between these 5 choices? How will you calculate it? Now see, from 1 to 4 there is 1 to 5 there is difference of from 1 to 5 there is difference of 4. 5 minus 1 gives you 4 and choices are 5. So 4 is distributed into 5 choices, gives you the difference of 0.8. Since it is a continuous data, so you just keep on adding 0.79. If you add 0.8 also, this will work. This won't have any problem at all. So starting from 1, beginning from 1, 1 is the lowest value, 5 is the highest value. You can't go below 1. For the worst case, you get 1 value, 1 choice, that is strongly disagree. So 1 to 1.79 or from 1 to 1.8. Then from 1.8 to 2.6. Similar way you can have, or this way you can have. Here 0, 1 has been reduced from 0.8. To make it continue in this way, you can make it continue this way also, from 1 to 1.8, 1.8 to 2.6, 2.6 to 3.4, 3.4 to 4.2, 4.2 to 5. And now you can interpret your mean values by comparing. So that is what has been done here in the previous, in this slide. Here you see, when the value is value falls between 1 to 7 point, let me show you that case here. Well, this is the right place from where I can connect you to, like 4.14, 3.65, 3.86, all values come under the agree option. Now you see, just remember 4.14, 3.65, 3.86, all these values are where you can see here agree, 3.4 to 4.9. So that is how you can, use mean in interpreting your question of the questionnaire. So now learners, we should learn what are the advantages of mean. So mean has these following advantages, like easy to understand, simple to calculate, based on all the observations. You can't leave any observation in calculating mean, so it is based on all values. It is rigidly defined. You, me, or anybody else in the evening, morning, night, in India or in America, wheresoever, it doesn't depend on subjective norms. So that is what is the rigidly defined means. Capable of further algebraic treatment means you can further calculate combined means if you have 2, 3 means and number of observations in those groups. So that is, it is capable of further algebraic treatments. It is not based on the position in the series. That is what I have described with you, that it is not a positional measure. Disadvantage of mean include it is affected by extreme values. Very right. If one value is outlier, as I have given you the example that in your class, if somebody is having age of 60 and you all are having age between 20 to 25, then the one value is going to rise the mean age of the class, going to increase the mean age of the class significantly. So that is what, in that case, when the data set is having extreme value or outliers, you avoid mean. That is not the advisable in that case. And the third is it cannot be located. The second one is it cannot be calculated for open-ended classes. If classes are open-ended, we need to make some assumptions. So in that case also it is not considered very suitable. It cannot be calculated graphically, yes, because it is not a positional measure. It gives misleading conclusions, just as why it gives you misleading conclusions. Suppose somebody has told you that you want to cross a river, and somebody has given you the depth of river, like 2 feet, then 3 feet, 9 feet, then 4 feet, and then 2.5 feet, then 4.5 feet, then 5.5 feet. Now further, these observations have been given to you. You calculated arithmetic mean and you found that the arithmetic mean comes out to be 5.5 feet, but your height is 6 feet. Now you are happy that fine, the mean depth of this river is only 5.5 feet, whereas my height is 6 feet. You don't know how to swim. You started crossing the river. But as soon as the depth got towards more than 6 to 9, you started drowning. Then that's why this can be called that mean is a misleading measure. This can mislead you. Beware of this measure of central tendency if the risks are like life-threatening or something like that. So we need to be judicious enough while using mean or calculating mean or the applying mean, we must know where mean is the best measure of central tendency to apply, then only apply mean. So thank you learners for watching this video lecture fully. Again, I would say you just like, comment, share this video channel, and share with your friends if you find this knowledge piece worth. Thank you so much.